How y'all doing? Testing, testing. Okay. You never know, y'all, so I always like try to test it out before anything, you know what I'm saying? But alright, we're back with chapter 3 of Tell Me Why. Hopefully I get to finish it today or tonight. But we gonna see. Damn, what was this again?
She fixed the roof shingles.
Oh, I remember, okay.
She fixed the planks that were blown off the walls. She slapped the post with it. All right.
There we go.
Damn. That must have been rough on Eddie.
Yeah, he doesn't really like to talk about her.
Dear Marianne, you cover your ears every time I try to have this conversation with you, so I thought I'd have a better chance doing this in a letter. I know you don't like saying goodbye, so I'll keep my melancholic rambling short and sweet. I want to thank you with all my heart for taking care of me for these past few months. I can't even imagine how exhausting it must have been for you to look after a sick old lady when you also have two small children at home. I know you want me to keep fighting this disease and hoping for recovery, but it's always been a great strength of mine to know when it's time to let go, and that time has come. I'd like to ask you for one last favor. Please take care of Eddie after I'm gone. My poor boy puts on a brave front ever since his father died, but I know he's in pain. I would be so much more at peace knowing he still has family. Maybe he could teach the kids how to fish. He loves spending time with them. Thank you for the warmth and the peace you brought to my life. Give the kids a kiss for me, will you, Carol? Yeah, that sucks. They're really close.
The crafty goblin's good deeds.
Of course, the goblins had to help out the creatures of the forest to pay off their debt to the pelican.
Well, what did they do?
You know, I don't really remember.
Did we read this one? Alright, I gotta read a few. The big frog is punished. Once upon a time in an ancient and deep forest, there lived a big frog. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta share the link to my Discord before I forget. Just real quick. And then I'll read this. Okay. Alright. There lived a big frog in a small pond. She was no ordinary frog, for she had been given the gift of speech when she saved the princess from the mad hunter. From the morning to the evening, she did everything the other frogs did, except that she knew how to speak. Every day, everybody in the forest could hear her loud voice, and everybody was unhappy with that because she never stopped babbling. She babbled about the too hot sun and the too deep pond, about the rain to come, and all the delicious flies she had eaten. Across the forest, all the creatures tolerated the endless noise until one day they could not deal with it anymore. They asked the big frog to quiet down. "I can't," said the big frog. "This is what I do. Before the princess kissed me, I croaked all day long, and you all liked that I did. This is the same, except you can understand what I say, and now you find it irritating. But I can't change what I am, can I? Could you?" All the creatures agreed that she was right and that it was rude of them to ask the big frog to stop doing what she had always done. So they returned to their own parts of the forest and let the big frog do what frogs have always done, jumping and talking some more. About the too hot sun and the too deep pond, about the rain to come and the delicious flies they have eaten. And for a time it was alright, but in the forest word travels fast, and everyone has a story to tell. The big frog, being who she was, gossiped and gossiped about everything she overheard. She told the bees that old bear had stolen their precious honey 2 years ago, and she told the beavers that the eagles had stolen their precious wood. She told the deer who had killed her fawn, and she told the tall spruce who had carved the cuss word into its bark. Once again, everyone in the forest asked the big frog to keep quiet, for now everyone had a grudge against everyone else. But once again, the big frog would not listen. "When I was just a frog, you never paid attention to me, and nobody helped me when the mad hunter hunted me for sport. This is only a right for a wrong, and I won't stop talking." The fuss went on, and the noise was so loud that the Ice King himself awoke and decided to see what was going on. Silence bellowed the king, and even the big frog stopped babbling. Once the forest was quiet again, the Ice King patiently listened to what each and every animal of the forest had to say, until finally he made his mind. "Big Frog, you had abused the gift of speech, for you have only used it to get revenge. Despite knowing that words can be hurtful, you threw them around without caution, and you caused too much trouble." The big frog opened her mouth to protest, but the Ice King raised his finger before she could say another word. "Since you received the gift of speech for a good deed, I would not dare to take it away from you. So here's your punishment. I will tell you the biggest of my secrets. It is a secret so powerful and so dangerous that it will frighten you. But if you ever reveal it to anyone," the Ice King bent down and whispered such potent words in the big frog's ear that the poor creature started to tremble. "Now go on about your business, all of you, and try to forget what the big frog told you, for you all are living in the forest and you have nowhere else to go." And this is how the big frog irritated the Ice King, and how she was punished. Let me take a swig of water. Man, teachers have my props for them. The goblins saved the old beaver. Once upon a time, in a deep and ancient forest, winter gave way to spring in a sudden burst of warm air that melted all the snow and all the ice all at once. The river swelled until it could no longer hold all the water in, and then it spilled out to create new rivers in places where no one was expecting them. The whole of the forest went into a panic, looking for shelter from the rising waters. The very old beaver had been working on her dam when one of those new rivers came rushing right at her. She screeched and squealed, but whatever direction she ran, more water appeared. She was caught in the flooding, and though she had once been an excellent swimmer, age had taken its toll, and so the raging water carried her off at the speed she couldn't control. "Help," she called. The crafty goblins had been running back to their cave under the big wooden house when they heard the beaver's cries. "We have to help the beaver," one goblin said. "You go one way and I'll go the other." They ran, keeping in touch with the gift of voice. Finally, one of them spotted her twisting and tumbling in the river, but she was on the opposite side of the water, and the goblin could not reach her. Brother, the sister goblin called out through the gift of voice. "I see her, but I can't get her. Maybe you can. I'll try." The goblin guided her brother so that he would hit the river in just the right spot to reach the beaver. The plan worked, and soon the second goblin appeared in just the right spot. "Beaver," he shouted, holding out a branch. "Grab a hold of this." The beaver grabbed it, but in her panic she pulled the goblin in two. "No," cried his sister. She ran as hard as her legs could go, managing to outpace the river and get ahead of the beaver and her brother. Searching for some means of getting them out, she spied a low-hanging branch. They zipped by it quickly, but if they were fast enough, Brother, she cried out through the gift, you're coming up on a low-hanging branch. You'll zip by it quickly, but if you're fast enough, got it, said her brother. And then he said to the beaver, get ready to grab a hold of a low-hanging branch. We're going to zip by it quickly, but if we're fast enough... Why do they keep saying that? Suddenly, they were right in front of it, and it reached out, snagging hold. Though the water beat against them, trying to shake them loose, they pulled themselves along the branch back to dry land. When they were all safe, the very old beaver thanked the goblins. But how? She asked. Did you know just where to find me? And how did you know that branch was coming? The goblins shared a secret smile. Just lucky, I guess, they said. And that is how the goblins saved the very old beaver from the flooding river, and how she never knew how they did it. Alright, the goblins irritate the Ice King. Once upon a time, in a deep and ancient wood, the crafty goblins were getting into all kinds of trouble. They had woken up in a particularly mischievous mood that day, and there was not a single denizen of the ancient forest who they did not manage to pull a prank on. They left a mud pie in the princess's kitchen, so that when she dug in, she got a big mouthful of dirt. They used paint to draw silly pictures all over Moose's antlers while he slept. They told the mangy muskrat that his goat... What? They told the mangy muskrat that his coat had been returned to his former glory. Hold on, there's something in my eye, bro. Which made him very sad when he rushed to the water's edge and found he was in fact still mangy. They stole branches from the very old beaver's dam in order to have a sword fight, and they filled the old bear's den with burrs, whatever that is. Every time they ran away in a fit of giggles, never stopping to consider whether their jokes had done any harm. They were on their way to fill the Pios pelican's beak full of bubbles when they were hoisted into the air by their legs. Though they thrashed and shouted, they found themselves staring into the face of the Ice King. All morning, he said, I have been hearing complaints about you two. They're just pranks, said the goblins. No one has really been hurt. Oh no, asked the Ice King. He forced them to see how each of the victims of the pranks was doing. The princess had a stomach ache from swallowing the mud. The moose's antlers itched terribly where the paint had touched them. The muskrat was crying, sad at being reminded what his vanity had cost him. The very old beaver's den was flooded, and the old bear was trying to get the burrs out of his fur, but finding most of them hopelessly tangled. For your punishment, said the Ice King, you must help each of them undo the harm you caused. If you do a good enough job of this, there will be no further punishment. If you do not, you will have to give me your noses so you can no longer stick them into other people's business. Now the goblins liked their noses right where they were in the middle of their faces, so they set about making things right. They baked a real pie for the princess and brewed her a tea that would settle her stomach. They scrubbed the moose's antlers clean and then covered them in soothing mud. They sat by the river with the muskrat, listening as he talked in great detail about his old coat, and then they did their best to point out all of the things that were still handsome about him. Like his proud whiskers and sparkling eyes. They let the very old beaver rest while they repaired all the damage done to her den, and then finally they removed every burr from old bear's fur, even the ones that were hopelessly tangled. In the end, they came before the Ice King to see if they had done enough. The Ice King surveyed the forest and found that everyone seemed to be back to normal. What did you learn? Asked the Ice King. That our pranks can make people feel bad, said the goblins. The Ice King smiled and nodded. Yes, actions have consequences. In case you forget, I'm going to leave you with a reminder. Whenever one of your pranks is going to hurt someone, you are going to feel a little pit in your stomach. That will be your punishment and your warning. So every time after that, the goblins set out to do a prank that went a little too far. They felt a little pit in their stomachs, and they were forced to consider whether it was the right thing to do. And that is how the goblins irritated the Ice King and how they were punished. Ooh, girl. We're almost done though, so that's the good news, y'all. Only need 4 more chapters after this one. Or, like chapters to read. Okay. The pelican forgives the goblins. Once upon a time, in a deep and ancient forest, there lived a pair of crafty goblins in a cave below a big wooden house. They lived with a wise princess who shared as much food with them as she was able, but it was never quite enough. This left the goblins hungry, very hungry, always hungry. One day, as they were out foraging for food, the Pios pelican landed on a rock and dumped a smorgasbord from her beak, which the goblins knew was magic and never empty. There were king crabs and red, blue, gold, and scarlet, veiny blue shrimp, pink shelled scallops, oblong brown clams, purple spiny urchins, and even one prickly red sea cucumber. The food just kept coming. They watched as the pelican ate one clam and then took a nap. Do you think she would mind if we took just a little? Asked one goblin to the other. Her beak never empties. She won't possibly miss a couple of crabs, said the second, licking her lips. They were agreed, and so they crept over, filched some crabs, and ran. The goblins scarfed the crabs, but when they finished, they found out they were still hungry. She won't miss a handful of shrimp, said one goblin to the other. The goblins scarfed the shrimp, but when they finished, they found out that they were still hungry. Maybe also a few scallops, said one goblin to the other. The goblins scarfed the scallops, but when they were finished, they found that they were still hungry. So they went back for clams and then urchins and finally even the sea cucumber. Finally, they were not hungry, but there was also nothing left. Just then, the pelican woke up. What happened to my food? She asked. Unable to lie about it, the goblins confessed their crime. The pelican was dismayed, but she was a charitable-hearted bird, and she could tell the crafty goblins were growing little creatures. Goblin, said the Pios pelican, I will share my food with you, but you must in return follow my example and be as generous with others as I am with you. Take that to heart, and I will have consider your debt paid. But we have nothing to give, said the goblins. You have your nimble hands and your crafty brains and your loving hearts, said the pelican. The crafty goblins realized how much they had to give, and for the rest of the day they looked for ways to help the other creatures of the forest. They found the stalwart moose struggling with an itchy, hard-to-reach spot on his back, and so they climbed up and gave it a good scratching. Next, they helped the old bear, who could not get the honey out of a narrow beehive. They climbed up to the top of the tree with the hive, and then they dropped it, cracking it open. Finally, they found the princess, crying over a loss she would not speak about. So they wrapped her little arms around her in a great big hug and stayed until she felt better. When they were done, they returned to the Pios pelican. Did it feel good being as generous as I am? Asked the pelican. It did, said the goblins. I'm glad, said the pelican. We all have problems that we can't solve on our own. But if everyone goes about with their generosity in their hearts, then there is always someone on hand to help. But we all must commit to do so, or there may be no one there to help you when you need it. This made sense to the goblins, and they thanked the Pios pelican for her food and the lesson. Of course, by this time they were hungry again, and that remained an ongoing problem until the day the stalwart moose taught them to fish, and that is another story. And that is how the Pios pelican forgave the crafty goblins and how she taught them charity. Alright, so the bear goes to the bee. The bee goes to the bear. That's it. Oh, okay. Scratch.
They gave the stalwart moose a good scratch on the back.
And hug.
They hugged the princess when she was crying. Nailed it. Our lives would have been so different if their friendship hadn't gone to shit.
My bad, yeah, I took a bite of my sandwich, so give me a second. The Pelican Crossing is a specialty gift boutique located near the Oshea, hopefully I'm saying that right, Oshea Glacier, catering to Gastineau Channel tourists as well as Delos Crossing locals. We specialize in assortment of high quality products from home accessories, handmade souvenirs to personalized apparel and locally made art. The Pelican Crossing will be the first store to act as a relay between the buzzing arts and craft scene and customers. In addition to a wide array of novelty handcraft products, the consumer will enjoy friendly and knowledgeable customer service from Vecchi store co-owner Tessa Vecchi and up-and-coming artist Marianne Ronin. This business plan is prepared to obtain financing in the amount of $20,000 to purchase inventory and to help cover expenses in the first year of operations. And in year 1, the Pelican Crossing plans to break even, and in year 2, we plan to generate a moderate profit. Working on the executive summary part of our business plan. What do you think, Tessa? Okay.
The old bear's gifts for the princess. I'm totally blanking on that story. What did he give her again?
Why don't we open up the book and check?
The bear? Or is it the one, like, in the beginning? Oh, it's right here, period. Hold on. Ooh, yay. Okay. Okay, a fresh caught salmon, a handful of ripe berries, a newly bloomed bluebell.
Fresh caught salmon? Some roses, maybe? Actually, I'm not sure. A newly bloomed bluebell?
What was the other one? Ripe berries. What is this?
Some honey?
Nope.
Actually, I'm not sure. Hazelnuts.
No.
Wait. A handful of ripe berries?
Period, ho.
Nice. Man, he had it bad. Just couldn't let go.
Alright, sorry for the note under the door like a prison inmate. You okay? I stopped by and rang a couple times this week, but you didn't answer. I could see the light in the hayloft, so I figured you were in, but didn't want to talk. I hope I didn't ruin everything. I know I probably came on kind of strong, but the thing is I don't know how to talk to a woman like you. You are strong and kind, and you don't know so much. It's hard for me to know how to keep up. Excuse me. Oh wait, and you know so much, it's hard for me to keep up. Okay, that makes more sense. I guess all that went to my head, but I want you to know I got the message, and I'm gonna get out of your hair now, and there doesn't need to be any bad feelings. We can pass in the street and say hello or not. It's okay. P.S. I noticed your car was leaking, so I put some sealant in there. You might need to take it to the shop though. Let me know if you want me to come with you, because sometimes these guys try to rip you off. If not, no big deal. Sam. This is maybe the last
Crafty
one?
Goblin's loot.
That's from The Princess and the Two Thieves. I drew the original.
And I distinctly remember drawing that cake, which is arguably the best part of that illustration.
All right, Picasso. Then you probably remember what the goblins stole in that story, huh?
It was a cake. Well,
Maybe
no, they
took
stole
some of the
everything.
princess's fruit. I'm pretty sure they stole some eggs. Did they steal candy? Some flour for the cake, maybe? What if they took some spoons? Didn't they take some of the princess's clothes?
Alright, I'm gonna just look it up. A few fruits and nuts and eggs vanishing during the night. Is there nuts? Well, definitely got fruits and eggs. I don't know about the nuts. Spoons. Alright.
Actually, I'm not sure. Wait.
Boom.
Wait.
No? Oh, they didn't take clothes.
Actually, I'm not sure.
Period, ho.
That's it. I always wondered where that drawing went. She said it was her favorite, and then one day it just disappeared.
Babe. Alright, we're done.
You really want to go? You sure we've seen everything?
Yeah, ho, I've
Either
seen
way,
everything.
I'm ready for this to be over.
Me too. What are we waiting for? I want to know who was here that night. Let's try and remember who Marianne was arguing with.
Almost.
I don't recognize him.
Tom? Tom Vecchi is our father?
Of course.
Oh,
It had to be.
that's crazy.
Tessa knew, didn't she?
Yeah, she must have. It's what she didn't want to tell us.
God, Marianne and Tom?
I know.
I did not suspect.
What should we
He
do
was
now?
suspicious, but I did
Call
not
him out here
suspect that,
and make
bruh.
him tell us what was going on.
And if he won't?
We know his secret. He will. Tom? It's Allison. We need to talk. We know it was you. Let me take the lead on this. I know him better. I thought I did, anyway.
Sure. Whatever. as long as we get answers.
Yeah, ho, get out that car. Little Debbie.
Kids, listen.
You're our father.
Yes.
You knew how bad it got out here. How little we had. Why didn't you help Marianne?
You mean all the money she wanted? We didn't have anything to spare. Well, that winter was rough on everyone. You would have starved out here if not for all the free food we gave you.
Don't act like you had anything to do with that. That was all Tessa.
That's a cruel presumption, young man. Maybe it was Tessa's idea initially. But I supported it. And your mother was happy to live off our handouts.
That was crazy.
You tried to burn down our barn and knocked Tyler unconscious.
I never meant to hurt anybody. You weren't supposed to be home.
Doesn't excuse the fact that you didn't even stop to help.
What do you want me to say? I panicked. I was terrified that this whole thing was gonna blow up in my face. I had to do something.
You were here that night. You saw Marianne and Tyler. Why didn't you help?
I know it wasn't my best moment, but she threatened my life.
So you just decided to let her drown?
I didn't decide anything. Everything happened so fast, I panicked. And by the time I got to town, Brown was already on his way out. There was nothing else I could do.
Hey. You hearing me?
Yep, sorry. I'm trying really hard to keep myself from punching him in the face.
Does he really expect us to believe there wasn't anything else he could have done that night?
I don't know, Allie. I'd rather not think about it.
He's not even the least bit sorry for what he did. He could have seriously hurt you.
Yeah, he's just a fucking coward.
So what do we do now?
We tell him he's gotta fix the mess he made, one way or another.
You failed us, Tom. You need to make it right.
I'll do whatever you want. As long as none of this gets out.
Excuse me?
You want me to pay for my mistakes? Fine. But please, Tessa can't know. This'd kill her.
Tessa already knows, Tom.
No. That's impossible.
It never occurred to you the reason Tessa cut Marianne off was you?
But she never said anything. Oh, Lord.
You should try talking to your wife. Maybe if you had, we wouldn't be in this situation. And maybe Marianne wouldn't be dead.
Oh, come on. You of all people should appreciate how troubled Marianne was. She was unhinged. Something like this would have happened sooner or later.
And you just couldn't risk being there when it happened. Even though it meant leaving her to raise kids out here all by herself. None of this would have happened if you'd manned the fuck up!
I didn't have a choice. I know it shouldn't have happened. Well, your mother was a very pretty woman. And she'd been so many places and done so many things. The way I always thought I would have. I got caught up. Love made me a fool. Look, I made mistakes. But this will not go any further than the three of us.
Why? We know. Tessa knows. Marianne's dead. There's no point in hiding it anymore.
He's afraid it'll tank his campaign. Am I wrong?
Jesus, Tom.
I've kept your secret all these years. I don't want to go spilling it. But I will if I have to.
What?
Yeah. Your little story about self-defense. I've never told anyone how Marianne really died. That night,
Say
I
it
came
then.
out here because I was worried about your mother.
Ain't no way I'm gonna play as him. I don't think I'm gonna play as him. Never mind.
Why do they do it? They made me do it. They made me do it. Why did they do it? This is his fault. This is his fault.
Mad Hunter.
Oh, that's the real story.
No. No way. You're a fucking liar.
I saw what I saw.
You're manipulating us just like you manipulated her.
Tyler!
You're not listening to this, are you?
Be smart about this, Allison. Are you sure you want this to get out? You've got way more here to lose than he does. His name will be all but cleared, but you'll be a killer. What will your uncle say? And Michael? Well, the whole town might turn on you.
They both already know.
Touch her.
You know I'm right.
Just get out of here, Tom. Tyler and I need to talk alone.
Just please. Think twice before making any rash decisions. There are a whole lot of lives at stake here.
Leave us the fuck alone. And never come back. Allie, you okay? You didn't let that asshole get to you, did you? Did you?
What if he's right? I've been having all these nightmares about that night, and they were a lot like how Tom said. And now, when I try to remember, that's all I can see.
He's trying to mess with your head, and you're letting it work.
No, it's more than that. Ever since we started digging, I haven't been able to shake this feeling like something's off.
Nah, but real quick, it makes more sense with like his story, like his version of things. Cause like, bro, like it makes no sense on how that woman would just randomly go and kill or go and try to kill her kids, you know? And like yeah, she had problems for sure, like mood swings and everything, but it just makes more sense, you know? They were just
off
probably too
because he
scared.
put this in your head. Don't let him get away with it.
He might
But
not
Tom's
be
still a
lying.
bitch.
We keep getting things mixed up. We remember totally different versions of the past.
Those are just details. This isn't that. She was going to kill me.
I'm not so sure anymore, Tyler.
Excuse me. Bruh, I think it's gonna make me
She had a
choose.
gun pointed at me. She chased me. She said she was going to kill me.
She threatened Tom with those exact same words, with the same gun, on the same pier. The thing you said to Eddie the other day got thrown back at me. Don't you think it's possible that happened here too?
I guess it's possible. Fuck. I don't know. And we're
Like
never gonna
Tom's
know
a
the truth.
bitch, but I feel like he's
the
the
second
one
you
that's
walk
saying the
away
truth
from
of what
something-
happened.
That's it.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, you just have to decide what you believe.
Me?
Yeah. You need to start dealing, Allie. And that means coming to terms with whatever version of the past feels the most true to you. No more running. Whatever you choose, you gotta live with
I'm gonna
it,
choose Sam's.
okay?
gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna hurt you.
Oh, please. No, don't do this.
Allison, this isn't what.
Cause okay, exactly what she just said in the beginning when it shows like, you know, what happened or whatever. They said like his version that he was that, you know, that she was gonna kill him, but when Allison stabbed her, she was like, this doesn't, like, you know, like she said, this doesn't, and then she said what, and then that's like the exact words she's saying now. That's why I feel like
Going to kill herself. Just herself. You interrupted her and we got confused.
Are you sure?
Yes. That attic. Tyler, that was meant for us. It was her way of explaining what she was going through.
it just makes more sense.
I made a horrible mistake.
Hey, it's okay. I'm here.
I think I should read the chapters, like the rest of the chapters now, because I feel like the chapter 3 is gonna end soon.
Hey, peep what I just found downstairs. What do you think? Will it have aged well, or just gone bad? Where are you at right now?
I just keep hearing her say she wasn't going to hurt you. Over and over.
We were kids. We freaked out. You weren't equipped to deal with that shit.
She was just talking to you. And I killed her.
Stop.
I don't want to use our voice again. Ever.
What? Seriously?
I don't know. But I want to stop feeling like this. And I think we'll be better off without it. This morning, I kept getting these horrible visions. Of you and Marianne and Eddie.
Visions? Like our memories?
Yeah, but different. It was all my worst thoughts brought to life. You were in my bedroom saying I abandoned you. Eddie called me a snake.
I'm sorry. I should have been there for you.
It's okay. I was the one who walked out. I can't let that happen again.
I don't think it will. Something's been pushing us to find answers. And now we have them. Maybe I'm wrong. And if it stays bad, we can stop. But I really want to keep what makes us, us.
The Mad Hunter was forced to remain below the lake with the Moon Hag, but she did not kill him, because even reduced to just one hand, he was too useful a servant. Lo, he plotted
What do you
the day
think?
he would emerge.
Brothers and
To
sisters?
once again hunt the wise princess and earn back his left hand. Always. And that is the story of how the crafty goblins rescued the wise princess from the Mad Hunter.
Oh shit, he got a buzz cut. Okay, Tyler.
One last look. Good to go. Hey, it's me.
Hey, me.
House is empty. I'm getting ready to head out. So, last chance. Is there anything you want me to do while I'm in town?
Listen, Ty, you're dropping off the keys with Tina, right?
Yep, gonna leave them at her office on my way to the ferry.
Well, that's it then.
How are you?
Good, actually. Really good. You?
Same. You know, emptying the house really cleared my head out.
Thanks for doing that. The observatory really needed me this week. And after everything that happened, I just felt like I needed to keep some miles between me and Delos Crossing.
No worries. You still loving your therapist?
Gail, yes. I was actually just doing some letter writing she assigned me as homework. It really helped me get some perspective.
That sounds awesome. How's Juno?
Big and full of people, even without tourists. Michael's been writing up rules for the apartment. I need your support against his whole food policy.
Just refuse to sign anything until I get there. Okay?
Okay, but you better hurry. If he gets his way, we'll only have one small shelf for junk food.
What? Heresy. I'm gonna need like twice that just for snack cakes after my surgery next month.
I know, right? This cannot stand.
Did you see the article I sent you about Tom losing the election?
Ah, yes. I saw your message right before derby practice, so I didn't have time to read it. But I did cackle at the headline.
Did you picture Tom's face whenever you went in for a block?
No, but that is a great idea.
Anyways, I'm glad Tessa finally left his ass. Karma is a bitch. Okay, I'm gonna hang up now.
See you tonight.
Okay, I'm gonna take one last walk through the house and then head to the ferry.
Drive safe.
Pretty sure that's the only way possible in the old Allison Mobile.
Love you, Tyler.
Love you.
Alright, I'm gonna take the time to read the last 4 chapters because I know this shit about to end. I was about to get so mad that I didn't read it because I thought like that hug part was the end, but no, we're good. All right. So the goblins meet the ice troll. Once upon a time in an ancient and deep forest, the crafty goblins were awake long after they should have been asleep. One goblin said to the other, "Let's go explore the forest." Now the goblins were not in the habit of exploring the forest late at night, and they did not know what they would find. But this did not scare them off. They crept out of their They crept out of their beds, bundled up, and went exploring. It was dark. The light of the moon was just enough to keep them from walking in the trees, but they could not see more than 15 feet in front of them. Every time a twig snapped or branches rattled, they considered turning back, but they didn't. And so they had ventured far beyond the house into a part of the forest they were not familiar with. When they realized the snapping of twigs and the rattling of branches had become steady, something was following them. They turned to run back, but a hulking figure emerged from the darkness, sweeping them up with a giant hand and stuffing them into a burlap sack. The goblins wiggled and cried out, but the sack remained shut as their captors stomped through the forest, singing, "Whittle diddle dum, whittle diddle dee, and this bag's a meal for me." After a lot of thumping and thudding, the bag opened, and the goblins were dumped into a giant iron pot full of warming water. A huge troll stood overhead, grinning down at them through long, bushy white eyebrows. "I'm the ice troll, and you are my dinner." He ready to cook the goblins, singing whittle diddle dum, dum dee dee. There's soon to be a soup for me. Finishing his ditty. Whoa. Finishing his ditty? What the fuck? I can't with this shit. Finishing his ditty, he bent over to... Bro. He bent over to stroke the fire beneath the pot and let out a loud noise of pain, rubbing a spot on his back that always ached. The troll stood painfully and walked over to a stone shelf where he began to chop potatoes. One of the goblins had an idea. She whispered to her brother, "Follow my lead." The goblin stretched out in the water, floating and letting out sighs of contentment. I'm not reading that, I'm sorry. Said one of the goblins, "This is the most relaxed I've ever been. My body feels so good. I think I could run 100 miles without stopping," said the second. The troll peered at them. They weren't supposed to be happy about being in the cook pot, but they certainly looked like they were. "Troll," said the goblins, "if your back is hurting, you should try sitting in the water just for a little bit before it gets too hot." The troll stomped over. "But if I take you out, then you will escape, and there will be no soup for me. But put us back in the sack," suggested the goblins. "Then we can't run away." This made sense to the troll. The spot on his back that always ached was still bothering him, and the goblins couldn't go anywhere if they were trapped. So he stuffed the goblins back in the sack and climbed into the soup pot. He stretched out and let out a sigh of contentment. Meanwhile, the goblins threw themselves around in the sack until it began to swing. The troll was so relaxed he didn't even notice. The bag dropped onto the shelf where the troll had been chopping potatoes, and the goblins pushed it up against the edge of the troll's knife, saving a hole. Then they made a break for it. The troll finally noticed what they were doing and roared out in anger. But he was so relaxed that when he tried to chase them, he tumbled out of the cook pot and into the flames, catching his bushy eyebrows on fire. The goblins ran and ran and ran as fast as they could through the ancient deep forest until they were back in the cave and safe in their beds. They vowed never to venture out in the ancient and deep forest late at night again, for they do not think they get so lucky as to trick the ice troll twice. And that is the story of how the crafty goblins met the ice troll and why they never did again. Water break. The goblins tricked the muskrat. Once upon a time in a deep and ancient wood there lived a muskrat. The muskrat was a lazy, cowardly creature who did little but lay around in the sun, cleaning his beautiful coat until it shone. One day the muskrat found the crafty goblins playing king of the mountain on his favorite rock. He was too cowardly to confront them directly, and so he retreated to a safe distance and then pitched a stone right at a hornet's nest hanging overhead. One of the goblins saw him do it, but before he could say anything, the hornets emerged, furious, and chased the goblins away, stinging them. With the rock empty, the muskrat claimed his spot. When the goblins returned, they asked the muskrat, "Why did you do that?" "I don't know what you're talking about," he said, turning away to ignore them. The goblins knew that the muskrat cared for nothing but his coat, so they devised to steal it in order to teach him a lesson. Excuse me. As the muskrat lay in the sun, he spied the goblins striding by. Their skin was covered in flecks of gold. The goblins called the muskrat, "What happened to make your skin shine that way?" "When we were attacked by the hornets, we ran and ran until we found a pool by a glacier. We dove in and then came out this way. Would you show me this pool?" asked the muskrat. The crafty goblins led the muskrat to a pool. The muskrat looked at the pool skeptically. "It looks like a pool," he said. The goblins chuckled and shrugged. "You don't have to jump in it if you don't want to, but what do you lose if you try? And if it works, why, you will be the most beautiful creature in the whole of the forest." With visions of his splendid coat in mind, the muskrat jumped in. When he emerged, he was disappointed to find that nothing had changed. Said one goblin. "Maybe you have to be stung by the hornets first, just like us." The muskrat hesitated because getting stung would be painful. Seeing his hesitation, the goblin added, "If it works, you will be the most beautiful creature in the whole of the forest." The muskrat decided it was worth it. So he returned to the hornet's nest and pitched the stone right at it. The hornets emerged, even more furious this time. They chased the muskrat, stinging him repeatedly until he jumped into the magic pool. The muskrat was disappointed to find that once again nothing had changed. "I wonder if the magic only works for us," said one of the goblins. "Would you like me to jump in it with your coat?" The muskrat hesitated. If it works, you will be the most beautiful creature in the whole of the forest." With visions of his splendid coat in mind, the muskrat agreed. He slipped it off and handed it to the goblins. Without his coat, the muskrat was pale and covered in scabbling welts. Instead of jumping in the pool when the goblins ran away with the coat, laughing, the other pushed muskrat into the fish. The other pushed muskrat into the frigid pool, and as water splashed the goblin, the gold flecks ran, revealing that they had only ever been painted on. The muskrat cried so pitifully and made such a clamor that he awoke the Ice King, who came down to the forest to see what had happened. When the Ice King saw the muskrat, he laughed, only further infuriating the creature. "Tell me what happened," said the Ice King. Both the muskrat and the goblins told their sides of the story, and the Ice King considered the case before him. "It is true that the muskrat is vain, and he thinks of nothing but himself," concluded the Ice King, "but he needs something to keep him warm in the water and the sun." So the Ice King was decided. The muskrat would get his coat back, but it would be patchy and upkept. After that day, he became known as Mangy Muskrat, and his how. I think the game owner made a freaking autocorrect or some shit, but they put his instead of is, but whatever. And that is how the goblins tricked the muskrat into giving up his coat and how he got his name. The moose teaches the goblins. Once upon a time, in a deep and ancient forest, the crafty goblins were hungry. This wasn't unusual. The goblins were always hungry, but today they were particularly hungry. They opened the wise princess's cupboards to look for a snack, but all she had was a small pile of nuts and berries and just one strip of dried fish. The goblins grabbed it all and gobbled it up, but they were still hungry. They went out into the woods to look for more to eat. First, they dropped by the small pond. The big frog was asleep, and beside the pond was a pile of insects she had caught for eating after she woke up. The goblins crept up to the pile, careful not to wake up the big frog. As they got close, she ribbited loudly, and they froze. But the big frog kept sleeping, so they grabbed up the pile of insect and gobbled it up. But they were still hungry. As they crept back into the woods, they found the stalwart moose watching them. "Did you just steal the big frog's food?" The goblins tried not to look guilty, but failed. "She said we could have them," they cried. "Oh, really?" asked the moose. "Let's ask her." So Moose woke up Big Frog and asked, "Did you say the goblins could have your food?" The Big Frog looked at the goblins, who she knew were always hungry, and nodded. "Yes, I did." "Really?" asked the moose, surprised. Frog nodded, and the moose sighed. "All right, then," he said, and he had to let the goblins go. The next stop was the river. They watched as Old Bear swiped at a leaping salmon, catching it deftly in his large paws. He laid it out upon a rock and left it to dry. Lumbering into the woods to seek out some berries, the crafty goblins crept up to the rock. Carefully, in case Old Bear returned, they reached the rocks, grabbed the salmon, and gobbled it all up, but they were still hungry. As they crept back into the woods, the stalwart moose was once again waiting for them. Are you going to tell me Old Bear said you could have that? Yes, replied the goblins. Old Bear ampled up at that moment, and Moose asked him, did you leave that fish for the goblins? Old Bear looked at the goblins, who he knew were always hungry, and nodded. I did. He said, really? Asked the Moose. Really, said the Old Bear, and Moose left. Old Bear said to the goblins, be sure to tell the princess I was kind to you and don't steal my fish again. The goblins, still hungry, went out looking for one more meal. They crept up to the mangy muskrat's lodge and began to climb inside when they were dragged right back out. The stalwart moose dangled them by their seats of their pants and said, now I know Mangy Muskrat didn't tell you that you could eat his food because he blames you for his coat being ruined. Besides, he barely has enough for himself and doesn't share with anyone. The goblins began to protest, but he shook his head. He set the goblins down and said, come with me. The goblins followed the stalwart moose to a part of the river where it ran slow enough for them to walk into it safely. He gave them each a fishing line and said, I am going to teach you to fish, so that when you are hungry, you do not need to steal from the animals of the forest. It will be hard work, but it will be honest. The crafty goblins were not against working hard. They were just hungry, and so they listened to Moose and soon pulled wiggling fish out of the river. They ate them up, and finally they were no longer hungry. And that is how the Moose came to teach the crafty goblins to fish. Alright, last chapter, y'all. The Mad Hunter gets his hand back. Once upon a time, in a deep and cold lake near the ancient forest, there lived an old seal who was a powerful witch. After angering the Ice King, she had been bound to the lake, allowed only to venture out when the moon was full, and only looking like the hag she truly was. For years she dreamed of vengeance, all alone within the deep lake among the corpses of her many previous victims. One night she awoke to see a black and hooded silhouette clawing to reach a beautiful gown full of stone. The human had delved far deeper into the lake than any land dweller should have been able to go. His tenacity damn, now my brain's all like twisted with this one. His tenacity. His tenacity and foolishness impressed the moon hag, and she decided he would be wasted in her statuary of corpses. She used her magic to unspell him, allowing him to breathe underwater, but also binding him to her service. You, she said, will be the instrument of my release and my revenge. For you and I together will kill the Ice King. The moon hag had never heard of the Mad Hunter, and she did not know the power he wielded. She could only tell he was a hunter, and her lust for revenge blinded her to the threat he posed. She gifted him a hand of ice, which was not as nimble as a hand of flesh, but allowed him to serve her better than no hand at all. The moon hag spent years devising the perfect plan to kill the Ice King, and years more moving all the pieces into place to execute it. In the meantime, the Mad Hunter served her, guarding her chest of treasures and plotting his own plots. Finally, everything was prepared. The full moon rose, and the moon hag stepped on land, giddy at the thought she would never have to leave again if it did not please her. She brought the Mad Hunter to his post, a jagged peak of ice and stone from which he would lose the arrow that would slay the Ice King. Before she could go, he put forward a proposal. Moon hag, said the Mad Hunter, if you grow back my missing hand, I will be certain to hit the Ice King with my arrow. We will have only one shot, and I would hate to miss. You're a powerful witch, so you'll be able to craft ties to bind me to this place that I cannot break. The moon hag considered it. Alright, I will grow back your hand and then bind you here with ties that will not break. She cast a spell, and the Mad Hunter's hand of ice was replaced with a hand of flesh. As the witch left to complete the next part of her plan, the Mad Hunter grinned wickedly in the moonlight. After a short time, the Moon Hag returned, luring the Ice King into the Mad Hunter's line of sight. "What is this about, Moon Hag?" asked the Ice King. "Many a long year have you bound me to the lake," said the Moon Hag. "Many a long year have I been alone in the dark. That ends tonight." She cast a powerful spell that made the Ice King slow to react, and then gave the signal. "Mad Hunter," she cried, "let your arrow fly." Nothing happened. She twitched nervously. "Mad Hunter," she growled, "let your arrow fly." Still nothing happened. The Ice King, meanwhile, was striding toward her, slow but furious. The Moon Hag fled, running first to the jagged peak of ice and stone where her servants should have waited, but the peak was empty. The ties had been broken, and the Mad Hunter was gone. For in the end, he was the more powerful of the two, especially once he had two hands. When the Ice King finally caught the hag, his furious voice could be heard throughout the forest. "For your wickedness, you will be eternally bound to the lake. You will no longer be allowed to leave, not even under a full moon." The Moon Hag was imprisoned in the lake, and she would never again try to escape. And this is how the Mad Hunter escaped the Moon Hag, and how he got his left hand back. Period, bitch. Hold on, I need more water. Tyler stepped in dog shit or something.
It's too bad Tessa closed her cafe. That other place just doesn't quite hit the spot. I should have probably run these by his place. Or just dropped them off at Bernie's. I should grab the rest of my stuff before I head out. Sucks to suck, Thomas Anthony Fecky. Huh. Well, at least she finally dumped his ass.
Dearest Tyler and Allison, I am writing this letter from Juneau International Airport, where I will soon board a plane in Manila on a missionary assignment. I apologize for not coming in person to say goodbye, but I was called to make this decision alone and to carry it on my own as well. Excuse me. I am sure you understand that sometimes we must follow without question the prompting of the Spirit. I will not be coming back to Dallas Crossing for some time. Before I go, there is still something I feel I must confess to you both, perhaps because I have never found the strength to confront my husband. I have never been able to forgive Marianne for her betrayal. I truly did love you both like my own children, and I always try to forgive your mother for her unapologetic lifestyle. But when I discovered that you were the fruit of her affair with my Thomas, I wanted her to suffer like I was suffering, and I brought down on your house the wrath I never dared allow to unfold in mine. I've been deeply ashamed all these years, and I'm surprised how much better I feel with it out in the open. The greatest thing about truth is the peace it brings in your life. I hope you can find it in your hearts to forgive me. You have taught me once again how love will bring you further in life, something that Marianne had been trying to show me all along. Take care of each other always. In his steps, Tessa. Hey goblins, word in town is you guys finally sold the house. I came by tonight to help you fix what needs to be fixed, but there was nobody home. Are you gone already? Things change so fast these days. Anyway, you know where to find me if you want me to fix things. If you're still in town, I mean, it's getting late and I'm pretty tired. Oh, and I'm sorry for acting like the stupid ass I am. Everywhere I look, I think about what used to be. I've been trying to do better, but I think it might be too late It might be too late for an old bear like me. Now sure, this will reach you. It's getting late. Call me if you're still around. Be safe, Sam. P.S. I wish it was as easy to fix everything as Bo.
Seeing it empty is so weird, but at least it's the last time we'll ever have to. Gonna miss this.
One more jog
That
down
shit
memory
pretty
lane,
as fuck.
Mr. Ronan?
Hey, I'm having a private moment with me, myself, and I here.
Okay, carry on.
Certainly hope the new owners are Mr. or Mrs. Fix-It. Goodbye, broom. Goodbye, room. Goodbye, man on the moon? For posterity. Well, this is goodbye for real, I guess. Hey, Aaron. It's Ty. Tyler Ronan. I thought I'd catch you on your break between sessions, but I guess you're going along with another rebel with too many causes. I know I haven't reached out since I left Fireweight, but I just wanted to say, well, you were right about grief. About it going in circles. This morning, I was out on the porch staring at the fog, and my mother, she just tumbled right out of me. But it was okay. It actually felt good to remember. Anyway, give me a call back if you get a chance. I'll see you around. And thank you.
Period. Finished it, bro. Allison was grateful they completed Marianne's puzzle. Allison was influenced by Tom's testimony. The twins trusted their bond and kept their voice. Eddie was relieved that Allison accepted responsibility in the murder. So Sam felt understood by Allison. Michael felt closer to Tyler. Period, bro. Well, I'm gonna end it here, guys. I might play a little bit of GTA. I still gotta decide. But thank you guys for watching and being so patient with me on finishing this little gameplay. But I hope you enjoyed it. And subscribe to my YouTube. It's in my bio. And yeah, share it to the people you know what I'm saying? Get my community growing. And yeah. Thank you guys again, and see you next time. Be safe.